Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review. In this episode, the D Spectrum 7, Part 3. Welcome back to Apatros Review, your guide to the wild world of science fiction action horror, with me, your host, Mile Sipka. If you want to spell my name, just look at my channel name. Now, this is basically Part 3 of the D Spectrum 7, my special to mark the 175th episode I've done, which was a while ago. And, yeah, pretty much doing a whole bunch of crap films in the past 25 episodes. Now, this year I actually started the year with the Public Domain Madness Challenge, or PD Madness in titles, which was to review 13 public domain films, most of which are pretty shitty, so the majority of the Spectrum 7 will be comprised of films for that challenge. Now I've decided to streamline the 3 episodes of this 3-part special to make sure I don't spend too much time on a particular film, making the runtime stick within insane levels, helps with YouTube upload times, if need be keep things going at a brisk pace. Now in the previous 2 parts of the Spectrum 7 I reviewed many, or actually by that point I've already done all the crap films I've done as part of the Public Domain Madness Challenge, and you can see them if you watch the previous 2 parts, and also you can check out the reviews I've done of them on their own. Now in this part 3 I would check out the films I've done in the past 25 episodes that are not part of that madness challenge. Now I'm still a little woozy because I had a bad stomach bug a couple of days ago. I'm alright now. Yeah. My birthday's coming up in a few weeks. That'll be cool. Alright, so now, by the way, the D Spectrum is basically about films where I recount the films I've done that have either a D minus, which means it's terrible, a D, which means it's bad, or a D plus, which means it's disappointing. In case you want to know. Alright. First film on this special list, Out of Reach, directed by Pochit Leong in the year 2004. I saw this in the Sony Pictures DVD. The film pretty much gets a D minus. It's atrocious. There was a time in the 2000s when all the bad B-grade actions were coming out of Eastern Europe, and Out of Reach is another one of those. This is nothing new from former 1990s action star turned bad movie legend Steven Seagal, who made his money in the 2000s starring a whole heap of this kind of film, some better than others. But what makes this one of his very worst films is due to the idiotic script that Trevor Miller penned, a script that gives off the impression it was written by a 13-year-old boy who simply did a random search of several European news websites and took the most topical subjects to compose for his work. The logic in Out of Reach is, well, the title says it all. Characters make their decisions out of pure illogic, their minds going to the strangest of places without any overriding sense of coherence. From the head villain's boss only being in the film for a solitary couple-minute scene, and then never seen again, probably to build a room for a sequel which thankfully never eventuated. The fact that all the local Polish cops speak English but without understanding nuances of the language, to say that English is not their regular language is somewhat redundant given this is in Poland, or the disturbing sight of a young Polish orphan boy knocking back a small bottle of alcohol in one gulp with the finesse of your finest Russian drunks. Info is Polish. Not to mention the incomprehensibly daft scene where the girl that Seagal is trying to rescue, realizes that Seagal is in the vicinity in the party, and out of desperation makes a coded message out of the caviar, in a strange way fair enough, but the villain sees the message and decides to let it pass for anyway. And the message basically says, "This is a trap." Of course, on the internet said that actually it translates to "This is a crap." This film is truly a lousy exercise in contempt that Seagal seems to have as a very loyal and long-suffering fan base, who patiently sit for each direct-to-video turkey that Seagal puts out, hoping they get some sort of return to the awesome days of the early 1990s, where Seagal did his best work. For those fans, I'm sorry to say that Seagal has lost it for good. Occasionally you might get a reasonable film, but not much chance of that happening. Although we'll probably pay to see Under Siege 3 if it came out in the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, Zombie Night, directed by June Gulager in the year 2013. By the way, that's the son of Clu Gulager, 1980s horror film legend. I saw this DVD as part of the Vendetta films. This film gets a D+, 3 out of 10, it's disappointing. One of those many post-millennial B-grade zombie films that flooded the genre market during the first 2 decades of the 21st century, after the success of films like Resident Evil, 28 Days Later, and the impressive remake of Dawn of the Dead. This Asylum telepic, designed for the Sci-Fi Channel, boasts an impressive cast of former 1980s stars like Anthony Michael Hall, Alan Ruck, and Daryl Hannah, all of whom must have been experiencing a bit of a career slowdown, probably being hard up for the money in order to sign up for something like this. The story is remarkably simple. During one night, all the dead in a Californian town come to light to harass the living. Two families, known to each other, begin a bloody battle for the right to use a panic room that one of the families possessed happens to own. It doesn't take a zombie fan much thought to work out that the panic room won't be useful in a situation like this, since the family's bickering causes plenty of carnage. And they're kind of pointless. I mean, why don't they just wait for the other family to arrive and then just set out the thing together? No need for fighting. To be honest, Zombie Night isn't a classic by any standard, and also nowhere near even the best of what the asylum sci-fi can produce. It's just a pretty standard B-grade zombie film. Ironically, if this was made in the 1980s, it would have gone straight to video and probably released on VHS by the Vestron Wizard Video, that just uses a very simple plot that probably has been written up by an internet script randomizer, but with only one difference in zombie lore: that of the zombies only appearing for one night, dying again when dawn comes up. So in a word, this is mediocre zombie mush, not to be confused with zombie nosh. Although director John Gallagher manages to invest a slight degree of energy to the rather sparse zombie attacks, but not enough to make things interesting. Now, if you want to get this film in Australia, it was released through Vendetta Films, originally on its own, and then as part of a box set of zombie films. Now, The She-Beast, directed by Michael Reeves in the year 1966. This guy's a bit of 1960s horror movie royalty in a way. This is a public domain film, such as a public domain source. It's also released as Revenge of the Blood Beast in places, and also as The Sister of Satan in Italian. Now, I gave this one a D+. It's disappointing. Now, this is the first credited directorial effort of the legendary British horror director Michael Reeves, who for a brief time in the 1960s was considered the wonderkind of British horror. Sadly for us horror fans and for the British horror industry, Reeves only put out 3 films before having his promise shattered from an overdose of barbiturates in 1969 during pre-production of what was meant to be his 4th film. He was only 25. Imagine that. Only 25 years old, you made 3 films and you basically cark it through taking too many barbs. The She-Beast is basically one of only a couple of English horror films to attempt to copy the formula of the continental Gothic film, something that gained a lot of leg power in Mario Bava's classic Black Sunday. I'll review that one day. And it was at the time Europe's answer to Hammer's output. Also in Italy, where it was co-produced as The Sister of Satan, and other places as Revenge of the Blood Beast, The She-Beast is a blatant copy of the story Black Sunday almost down to the letter, but instead of making it straight for a horror film, Reeves played for comedic value. Basically, Black Sunday the comedy version. The plot is about a young British bride traveling across communist Europe with her husband, who gets possessed by a nasty spirit of an evil and really ugly witch after their car crashes into a local lake. The hubby, and a descendant of the Van Helsings, must battle the ugly witch bitch to get the bride back. Black Sunday star Barbara Steele does a sort of reprisal of a legendary role here, but here not only doesn't play the actual witch, instead she only cast to play an ordinary housewife for what was probably a limited amount of screen time. Rumor has it that she was only on set for about a single day or so. The She-Beast might have been an abomination as ugly as its monster's repulsive face, but did make inroads for Michael Reeves' short-lived career but enduring cult reputation. And probably the best of Reeves' films was his 3rd film, which was Matthew Hopkins' Witchfinder General, commonly known as Witchfinder General, or in America it's known as Conqueror Worm. For some reason, the Americans marketed it as an Edgar Allan Poe film, even though it wasn't. And that was one of Vincent Price's best ever performances. It was actually the scary thing about that film was that it was based on a true story. Matthew Hopkins was a real-life witch-finder during the English Civil War. He was a lawyer by trade, who went around towns demanding rock star salaries, or actually rock star commissions, to basically rid the towns of all the witches. In other words, he was basically getting innocent people, tricking people to believe they were witch, and executing them. Bastard. The film was actually excellent. And now for the last film in this D Spectrum 7, and that's it for that one for another 25 episodes. Automata Transfusion, known in Australia and Britain as Zombie Transfusion, directed by Steven Seagal in the year 2007, also known on Vendetta Films release. This one was also released separately as part of that some zombie film box sets by Vendetta Films. this is also a D plus, like the Zombie Night. Another card-carrying member of the massive amount of zombie films that flooded the horror genre from the middle to late 2000s to about the late 2010s, Automata Transfusion, known in Australia and UK as Zombie Transfusion, which makes a better title, was a cheerfully stupid but gleefully gory ultra-low-budget horror indie that attained something of a bad reputation shortly after it came out. It also proved to be the directorial debut of Steven Seagal, who has gone on to make a regular presence in the horror genre. As for recent years, Automata Transfusion has now become pretty much forgotten about. Shot in 9 days on a really paltry $30,000 budget, with the bar scenes shut down for free and 2 streets in downtown Orlando, Florida shut down for the zombie scenes to be filmed there, this ultra-low-budget zombie thriller about 4 high school students who must try to survive a top-secret military experiment that started in the 1970s with the aim of raising the dead, but which, once restarted in 2006, quickly got out of control, decimating 2 whole Florida cities, forcing those 4 students to fight for their lives. It's pretty much amateurishly handled, and with the bad editing, shoddy photography, and a plethora of bad garage band songs blaring on the soundtrack, proves to be nearly unwatchable if it wasn't for the fairly decent gore effects that range from a woman's jaw being ripped off, to a literally mind-blowing shotgun blast to its face, to the rather dubious effect of a pregnant woman's unborn baby getting ripped out of her belly and eaten, to the Fulci-esque eye impalement of a shard of glass. If you're a gorehound, this will be elevated music for your enjoyment. Otherwise, the numerous logic flaws and continuity goofs will cause your brain to hurt bad, like the student who openly wears brass knuckles in high school. How did you get them past the school's metal detectors? Even in the mid-2000s, they had metal detectors in schools. And honestly, to get brass knuckles in sneaking past the school, crazy. The frame rate on the film is pretty strange, given the film's studded look that is visually painful, and the incomplete ending. The film ends a cliffhanger, will piss off just about everybody who watches it, given that there's so far been no sequel to date. And the thing about that film, also that scene where the woman's baby gets ripped out, apparently the makeup effects artist on the film actually did the film purely because he wanted to do that effect. That was his motivation for working on the film. And, I mean, the director Steven Seagal has actually gone to make some other films, mostly sci-fi, telepics, and direct-to-video films. If there is a sequel made to this film sometime, well, to be honest, I'll approach it with very caution, given how pretty dodgy this one is. But to be honest, don't go out of your way to find this film. I mean, if it comes across, just watch it for some fun, that's it. Okay, that's it for the D Spectrum 7. I'm sorry I'm a little bit woozy because I just had a bad stomach bug a couple of days ago. So I'm not fully 100%, but you know, a professional dedication for you fans, I did this. I hope you enjoyed this installment and keep watching us. There's plenty more coming in this year. And I'm going to try and get up to 150 reviews this year, hopefully. I've already done 25, so that's 125 left to go. Okay, keep watching. Hope you guys are staying safe. By the way, I don't do requests, but if you want to have a particular film in my collection, just hit me up in the comment section. Also, if you have any questions about, for say, technical things with DVDs, or if you want to know if there's a uncut version of a film available or something, usually in Australia, then hit me up and I'll answer your questions as best I can. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and that's it for this review. Stay safe.